Hello everyone, this is Basil the Ortho Biker. So I returned from Deals Gap a few weeks ago on my longest motorcycle road trip to date. I think it totaled about 15 to 1600 miles round trip. This is a guesstimate. I didn't really track my total miles, but I heard a phrase recently on TV that kind of made me think about this trip. And I'll be paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact wording, but the longer the journey, the greater the challenges, and the greater the changes to the ones that endure them, or something to that effect. And this is my longest motorcycle road trip to date, and I find that phrase to be true. So thinking about that, I want to talk about 5 things I learned on this last motorcycle road trip. So being on a Sportster, I think one of the greatest challenges is packing. You always tend to overpack on a motorcycle road trip. And that's because you pack everything you know you need, and you try to be prepared, so you pack everything you think you need, and then you add like little minor creature comforts on top of that. Pack the things you know that you will need, like, clothes, underwear, deodorant, toiletries. Those things that you think you might need, you probably don't. Like, for example, I brought a laptop on this trip, thinking I would have to do some updates and other things online, because I do a lot of stuff online. YouTube is not my only platform and not my only online venue of activity. And I do a lot more non-motorcycle stuff through the church than I do through motorcycle stuff. But to be honest, I used that laptop once the entire road trip, and maybe for like 10 minutes. That was it. So in reality, I didn't even need that laptop. And I packed way more clothes than I thought I needed. I mean, you're on a motorcycle road trip. Anything you think you need that you can buy at the store, just wait until you need it. If you do, buy it. Usually those items are not that expensive. Pack less clothes than you think you need, because let's face it, laundromats are a dime a dozen. If you run through your clothes like I did, and you need to wash them, just take them to a laundromat, a couple bucks, you're done. This allows you to carry less weight, it gives you less to keep track of, but it also allows you to fit a smaller bag on your motorcycle. Now, I only have one size sissy bag, but I did not pack the additional roll bag to the sissy bar bag like I did on the last trip. So maybe I am learning a little bit. I packed less, but it doesn't feel like it because I shoved the laptop in there. So yeah, learning to pack less is definitely an important aspect of most motorcycle road trips, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with, and I'm in that group, I'm included. Another thing I learned is to research your destinations. So I didn't really go down to Chattanooga with much of a plan. The only thing that I had set in stone was riding the tail of the dragon on July 4th. That was the only thing I had set in stone. The only thing I knew for sure I was going to do. But I didn't research any of the other locations I had planned on visiting before going down there. For example, the Harley Davidson on the tail of the dragon was closed. I had totally intended to stop by there to get like the Harley Davidson poker chip from that store, and I couldn't because they were closed. You know, which totally makes sense. The most American company in the country is probably going to be closed on the day where the country celebrates its independence, more or less. So, yeah. Then there's Rock City and Ruby Falls. I had no idea that you had to buy your tickets online, and I had no idea how quickly they sold out. Had I done a little research, I probably would have bought my tickets before I got down there, and then planned my days around that, because the Monday, the first day I was actually down there and able to do anything, nothing went to plan, because I had nothing planned. So yeah, research your destinations, do a little planning beforehand. It saves you a lot of time. I feel like I wasted almost the entire day on Monday just kind of working around. I was one gear too far. I wasted the entire day just kind of adapting my impromptu plans around just whatever happened to fall into place. I didn't get to do half of the stuff I wanted to do, and had I planned ahead, I probably would have been able to do more. Another point is try new things. Don't be afraid to try new things. We are all creatures of habit. And I think primarily in my mind, I'm thinking of food, but this applies to anything really. Like, I am kind of set my ways when it comes to food, but I intentionally went out of my way to find, I wouldn't say exotic, but different places to eat with different food than I can get here in rural Arkansas. Because let's face it, I mean, look where I'm at. There's not really a whole lot here to choose from out in the middle of nowhere. So at least when it comes to food, don't be afraid to be adventurous. Try exotic anything. Try exotic foods, or even visit some places and do things you wouldn't be able to see or do back home where you're from or where you're at. That's the whole point of motorcycle road trips. They're supposed to be adventures. So be adventurous when you go out and do things and have fun. And kind of in the same vein of thought, don't be afraid to smell the roses. I mean that. One of my greatest regrets when I was riding the Charahala Skyway is I didn't stop. Take time to enjoy the vistas. I mean, yes, I'm in the Ozarks and I got vistas here of the beautiful Ozark Mountains, but these mountains are not the Appalachian Mountains. They're not the same. I'm not saying the Appalachians are more beautiful. They have their own beauty that you can't find in the Ozarks, just like the Ozarks has its own beauty you can't find in the Appalachians. Take the time to enjoy the sights. Be present. Live in the moment. Realize where you're at and soak it in. Because for all you know, this could be the first and only time you see these things. I mean, me personally, I have no plans to go back to the Appalachians anytime soon. I got rained on more in 1 week than I think I've been rained on the entire time I've lived here in the Ozarks. And that's saying something. It's not dry here. It has rain, but you can predict it. There it was just like, oh hey, radar's clear. Weatherman says no, or an torrential downpour. That's not my fun on my list of things to do. I think so many people try to burn through their road trips getting from point A to point B, but then they don't stop to enjoy the sights along the way. Not just the destination, but the sights along the way. You see something cool along the side of the road, don't be afraid to pull over and, you know, see what it is. Enjoy it. That's another one of the greatest things about the motorcycle road trip. If you're on a motorcycle, you can pretty much go anywhere. And there have been some pinches where I actually got myself into a place that, had it been in a car, I probably would have been screwed. Another lesson is know your bike. When you're on a long trip like this, it really helps if you really know your bike. Know the maintenance intervals, know the sounds it makes, how it acts and reacts to different conditions. When I got rained on in Tennessee, I rode through 2 torrential downpours. And in each of those downpours, and even on the journey across Tennessee to Chattanooga, my bike started sucking water because I have an open air cleaner. And it was either rained so heavily, rained so long, that it soaked through the rain sock and the bike started sucking water. I already knew how my bike responds in that situation, having run into that last year. But if I didn't know how to overcome that, I very well may have been stranded on the side of the road with no cell signal, with no one I know around me. I would have been in a pretty bad situation. There's really not much cell signal in those mountains. So know your bike. Check it over before you leave. Make note of what maintenance you may need to do while you're on the road. Prepare for it. Like, I put a small 2x4 on the bottom of my bag just in case I needed to level out the bike by sliding it under the kickstand if I need to do a clutch adjustment or any other work under the primary cover for any reason whatsoever. So if you know your bike when you're on a motorcycle road trip, it helps. I mean, yes, we call them iron horses. They're not actually horses, but you kind of build a relationship with the machine between your legs because you need it to take you to where you're going. You need it to be functional. You need to be able to rely upon it, that it's going to get you out of trouble whenever you get into it, or it's going to take you where you need to go. Early on when I was learning how to ride, I kind of had an epiphany, and I shared it with my friend Sean. It's like, I got to a point where I couldn't tell if I was an extension of the motorcycle or the motorcycle was an extension of me. And he agreed with me. He's like, yes! And I think that's how we should be with our motorcycle. Be familiar with your motorcycle. And not just a functioning of the motorcycle. Know how to ride. It goes a long way. It makes you a safer rider. It makes you a better rider. And it makes you capable of working yourself out of a situation you may have accidentally put yourself into. Or maybe a situation that was created by uncontrollable circumstances such as the weather or the terrain or whatnot. I can pretty much fix anything on this bike that happens to go wrong. And I think anybody that goes on a road trip like that should put themselves in the same situation. You can't rely on mechanics. You can't depend on there being a mechanic wherever you're at and wherever you're going. So know your motorcycle. Learn it very well. And this last one is a bonus. It's not, ooh, hey. I forgot what I was saying. So this last one was a bonus, or is a bonus, I should say. On a motorcycle road trip, you learn very quickly to endure the unavoidable. Like for me in Tennessee, it was rain. I learned very quickly just to deal with all kinds of rain, all levels and amounts of rain, and all sorts of terrain. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I got drenched. Plus you have situations like what just happened back there. You don't know what people are going to do. There's no way for you to know what people are going to do. So you have to be prepared and expect the unexpected. You have to keep your head on a swivel. But motorcycle road trips are one of the most enjoyable things I can do. And unfortunately, I don't have enough money and time to do about one a year. But to paraphrase Amanda Zitto, one of my favorite people on YouTube, just go out and do the thing. If you got time to do it, do it. Like this whole Tail of the Dragon road trip was very impromptu for me. Normally in my road trips, I plan many months in advance. I got everything planned out. I know exactly what I'm doing. I decided to do this maybe a month in advance. 2 at the most. I don't know exactly. I don't remember when I declared I was going to go. But if you see an opportunity to do something, do it, and do it now. The present moment is the only moment we have. The present moment is the only moment in which we can live our lives. If you're constantly looking to the future at the things you wish you want to do, stop wishing, do it. Go out and do it. And if you're constantly looking back and regretting the things you didn't do, stop looking back or you'll never move forward. Just go out and do them. To quote Sarah from Rose, it is later than you think. So if we're always waiting, and we're always waiting for the perfect moment, just know that perfect moment is never going to come. I have never found a perfect moment for anything in my life, and I just stopped waiting for that perfect moment to come, and just started taking action. Anyways, I think I waxed a little long on that subject. I did not mean to get all poetic and philosophical on you. But I think from here I'm going to actually double back. I passed the pizza place because I wasn't done talking. But it's time for dinner. I want a good, nice, hot calzone. Oh, I can't wait to get a big bore kit in this thing. But anyways, I thank you for coming along for the ride. If you like what you see and you like what you hear, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the like button so the YouTube algorithms do the thing and make sure I get more views. And make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notifications of any videos I may put out in the future, just like this one. But as always, keep the 2 wheels on the ground, the shiny side up, ride safe, and I will see all of you in the next one. Ah, the sun is blinding me! Goggles, they do nothing! Oh, that's a dog! Run!